Hello and welcome to The Big Picture. The issue of religious conversions is back in focus. About 10 to 15 years back, this issue had gripped the country. Now, with the attempted conversions of about 200 Muslims in Agra, the controversy over religious conversions is again being debated. While those who attempted to convert the Muslims in Agra have been proceeded against and the law will now take its course, the larger issue needs to be debated. While converting from one religion to another is something which has happened in this country for decades, if not centuries, the debate about whether these conversions were voluntary or forced has remained. We will today look at the issue of conversions and whether it affects social harmony and also whether conversion should be allowed at all or not. To discuss this, I have with me on the phone line Professor Pushpesh Pant, former professor at the JNU and a political analyst, Kamal Farooqui, former chairman, Delhi Minorities Commission, R. Balashankar, national convener BJP's intellectual cell, John Dayal, senior journalist, and Munna Kumar Sharma, general secretary, Akhil Bharatiya Hindu Mahasabha. Welcome to all of you. Bala, this whole issue has now again come back to focus. This was, if you remember, about 10-15 years back, we had gone through the same debate, but again it is back, the same kind of thing. The people who are involved in it are supposed to be members or associations associated with the RSS. How do you look at this whole Agra thing first, and then we'll come to the larger issue?
No, in fact, my feeling is the opposition has no issue now. So they are creating these issues, one after another. They are picking up issues so that to communalize politics in India. The BJP is totally concentrating on development activities. The government in the last 6 months has been very deliberately moving away from all religious agendas, and it has been focusing on development. And we have been trying to bring economy back on the focus and also back on the rails. Development activities are taking place, investment is coming, Sensex is booming, and inflation has come down. So there are a lot of positives for the government, and there is nothing against the government. So opposition is now every day, today it is conversion, yesterday it was something else, before it was Sanskrit. So like that, issues are being taken up, frivolous issues, from somewhere they pick up and then they obstruct the house. So my feeling is that conversion is not an issue at all in this sense, because conversion has been going on in this country. It's a debatable point whether we should allow conversion or not. Of course, my feeling is that we should have a law banning all conversions. So there is no problem about that. So
you are saying that this is a non-issue is being made into an issue?
Into a big issue to corner the government
Munna
and
Kumar,
also
Munna Sharma ji,
to communalize the issue.
Munna Sharma ji, ये non-issue है क्या? Is it a non-issue? Conversions, Muslims being converted to Hinduism, Hindus being converted to, वो non-issue है?
In fact, this is non-issue because people are coming to their old religion. This is only a homecoming. This is not conversion. We are wrongly saying that it is conversion, but actually these incidents are homecoming of Hindus. Which
voluntary homecoming?
Yeah.
Are they voluntary homecoming?
All these incidents are voluntary homecoming.
In Agra, the people who had been converted, who were thought to be converted, they have said that they didn't know that it was a conversion ceremony. It was supposed to be a ceremony to give them Aadhaar cards or, BPL cards and things like that, and they didn't know what was happening.
It is only falsely stated and implicated by those political parties which are doing politics on the basis of religion. Congress, Sapa, Baspa, they all are doing politics on the basis of religion.
All the parties, including the BJP you are talking about?
I am not talking about BJP in this incident, but the political parties which are based on doing religion-based politics and mandatory appeasement. These parties are highlighting these issues, and actually these incidents are homecoming of Hindus.
It's a homecoming of Hindus. Kamal Farooqui, is that the way you look at it? Homecoming of Hindus, Ghar Wapasi, as they call it, and there is reconversion and not actually conversions.
It's a very absolutely new terminology which they are using. Homecoming, I do not know which home and when home and what home, but the fact is very clear that it's a conversion Now, as far as the conversion is concerned, that's absolutely no issue because Constitution provides under Article 25 freedom to have any religion of your choice. But the only issue comes over here when it is the allurement, fraudulently doing like this, under coercion or with a price or for some consideration. If all these things are being done, then definitely it's a questionable thing. Now, as far as Agra episode is concerned, Agra episode has been amply cleared now by thanks to the media itself, that even the interviews from the individuals who were so-called converted, when it was asked, they were shown that they were offered the Aadhaar card or ration card or some consideration for the houses and whatnot. All these things on record. Now they may say, my brother said that
It's a
no,
misleading.
it's again a political gimmick. But no, today itself, again the media has done a wonderful job by exposing a letter wherein these people who are trying to convert, in fact, or the homecoming, as my brother is saying, in fact, they are fooling the entire Hindu community as well. Why? Because they are showing that these are the kind of expenditure which we are making, huge expenditure which they are making, and they are showing that they are being converted just to bring in a kind of false pride among the Hindu brethren, as if a lot of people are coming. And now they are saying that even on 25th, which is a very auspicious day for the Christians, they are saying that we will be converting again in Aligarh. All these things, I personally feel, one, that they want to bring in the entire issue in a very, very emotional manner, so that the country is divided on the communal lines.
Okay.
And the entire agenda is changed in that. So basically, I personally feel it's diverting the attention of the people from the main issues to these issues. In fact,
it's quite ironic that Balashankar also says it's a diversionary tactic. You're also saying it's a diversionary tactic. Where what happens to people who get involved in this? Let me get Professor Pushpesh Pant. Professor Pant, are you there?
Yes, I'm very much there.
Okay. Professor Pant, how do you look at this? Is it religious diversion? Ghar wapasi, this is a reconversion, this is just homecoming, this is not conversions.
No, Girish, I think let's get it straight. It is certainly not homecoming. And I, as a person who was born a Hindu and is not a believer anymore, I think it is absurd to have somebody converted or reconverted into Hinduism. I don't think that Hinduism is a religion at all. I think there is Sanatan Dharma, there is a Vedic religion, there is a Bhagavad religion, and a Hindu doesn't convert anybody, doesn't reconvert anybody. So I think I find this wholly ridiculous, and I think Kamal Farooqi Saab put it very well when he said the Constitution allows us a fundamental right as citizens of this country to practice a religion or a faith of our choice. Now, if I'm born a Hindu and want to practice Christianity or Islam or Sikhism or Judaism or Buddhism, I have to be converted. The whole point Mr. Farooqi very clearly made was that if the conversion is due to some threat, allurement, seduction, then it is patently illegal and should be penalized. Where I have a difference of opinion with Mr. Farooqi is, he is a learned advocate. The media reports do not prove a thing at all. I could argue as a devil's advocate that the UP government is acting as an agent provocateur to destabilize the central government, and they have done enough of this kind, baiting of Hindus deliberately, and some Hindus fall for it. I think there have been conversions and there have been retaliations by lunatic fringe of the Hindu community. I think the case of the Graham Staines murder in Orissa is a shame, which all Hindus should hang their head in shame. What happened in Dang in Gujarat earlier, what happened in Premnagar near Ghaziabad a couple of decades back, I think they are a blot on the face of a secular India, and all Hindus who take pride in their Catholic eclectic heritage. But I do think that what the Home Minister said, it is a matter which has, if it is a matter of infringement of law, which falls under the domain of the state government of UP, let the court of law prove who the guilty was and punish them harshly, and let there be no repetitions of this kind of nonsense.
Okay. John?
Sir.
John, the debate is now about, the present issue is now about Muslims being converted into Hindus or reconverted or homecoming or whatever they call it. There is a larger, in the debate on conversions, Christians are seen as somebody, the missionaries who have been converting people in this country, So we'll have to, if we expand this debate, we'll have to look at that issue also.
Surely. And you must. It is a larger issue, and eventually, I suppose, it covers all religions which are not, as Pushpesh, my friend, says, which do not belong to what the Supreme Court has said, the Hindu way of life, because Hinduism is not a religion, it's a way of life, and that has been held and declared many times over. But let me put it this way. Where does the Constitution get its statement that a man has the freedom of faith? Because faith is among the few things that a man can change. The faith and the nationality. NRIs throw away the Indian passport and the Indian nationality and become Americans and become British and become Germans and South Africans. And one man could, and all Indian Christians, every single one of them, has to be a convert, because Jesus was born 2014 years ago and India existed longer than that. So Christianity is after Jesus, as much as Islam is after the Prophet's birth, and as much as Sikhism is after Guru Nanak Sahib. I once asked the Dalai Lama, the Buddha was born in Nepal, died in India, you were born in Tibet. How did you become a Buddhist, if not by conversion? Surely, that is a fact of life. But the Constitution says, in its very basic statement, freedom of faith, and the United Nations says freedom of faith is fundamental to all human rights. But with the proviso that it should not create a law and order problem, which it is doing now in UP, and it should not be creating a health hazard for the larger people. So you obviously cannot do very many things. You cannot allow dead bodies to rot on the road, saying that it is my religious practice. So within those bounds. But the issue is it a man's internal desire in search of the ultimate truth? Is it a freedom of conscience that he can renounce decision also? But understand, freedom of faith includes the freedom not to have a faith.
Exactly.
That is very, very important. And then to change your faith. That is also integral to the point.
No, the question here is, John, the question here is about allurements.
Precisely.
The question is here is about, maybe threat also.
No, but these are terms defined in the Criminal Procedure Code, defined in the IPC. What is an allurement? Allurement is the word. It does not translate very easily into other languages. But these are terms that have been defined by law. Let those laws prevail. If there is any inducement, if there is any coercion, that man must be punished. And speaking as a Christian, conversion to Christianity by anybody who has been given money or has been coerced is not a valid conversion to Christianity. The church doesn't accept it as a conversion.
Bala, let me look at this issue in a larger way. One of the charges or one of the observations or comments being made now is that ever since the new government has come in, these forces have become more active. They have, lot of the love jihad, this conversions. You see there seems to be a pattern to these things, because even 15 years ago when we saw the same kind of pattern, the same kind of pattern seems to be repeating now. And what is the role of the BJP in ensuring that these kind of, BJP and the government also, in ensuring that these kind of situations don't arise?
No, in fact, there is a pattern.
And do you agree that there is these kind of situations leads to social disharmony?
No, see, all this kind of propaganda, there is a pattern in the propaganda. Before the election also, there was a very conscious effort to create a religious division, to create a kind of fear psychosis among the minorities. That did not work. So now again, after the government has come, because the government has not done anything against any particular community, in fact, there is not a single instance in which the government acted in any partisan manner. The government has been performing as a national government. It has been giving every opportunity for every section of the society, and it has been taking special care. In fact, for example, there was a time when BJP was opposed to a separate ministry for minorities. The BJP did not scrap it. There is a commission which was constituted by the UPA, which was a Minority Education Commission. We were opposed to it, but we did not scrap it. So we have been very conscious for the fact that we should not give any indication, any kind of action by which minorities or any section in the society feel alienated. So there is a government, that government is very consciously thinking.
So You are saying that
our
there is
agenda was very clearly
Right.
that this is one country, one people, and the people should get all kind of opportunity under the Constitution of India.
Yes, John.
No, I
So
want to
this
make
is how.
three very brief points. Because here, I don't have a word against Mr. Modi. He is the Prime Minister. He was elected and given a mandate for development. But let me see, the ideological Sangha Parivar seems to have seen it also as a mandate for their theology. India is not a theocratic state, and they've seen it as a mandate for their acts. And this brings me to the problem of where does the state come in? Mr. Modi has not spoken. He must speak, and he must not talk of moratoriums. He must talk of zero tolerance. Point two. When you say, when you're
fact,
sort of,
he spoke
a moment,
before
please,
that
a moment, please. When these people talk about if you become a Hindu, we will give you the BPL card. The BPL card is for the state to give, not for a group to give, not for a religious group to give. So they are implying a certain state impunity at least, or else a state involvement, and that is totally ultra vires of the Constitution. I think it is for the central government and particularly for Mr. Modi to speak out against it. His
Yes.
silence is fatal.
Silence.
No,
This is also another problem, Bala.
No,
Silence is.
in fact, there has not been any silence because Narendra Modi has spoken out at least on 3 particular occasions whenever there was an issue like this. This is one aspect. The second is, as my earlier debater was saying, this is an issue for the state government. It can be tackled at the Uttar Pradesh level. Why it has come to the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha and create a big pandemonium here?
This is not the first
So
time.
this-
This is not the first time anyway that these kind of issues have come
No,
at the
but
national
the
level.
UP government
We have
is
seen-
trying to keep the focus away from its non-government.
You think- you
It's not with UP. It has got to do with Chhattisgarh, where there have been conversions, got to do with Madhya Pradesh, where there have been conversions in recent months. So it is not just.
It's not just in UP. Munna ji,
Yeah.
the question is this, that what John is talking about, that there is a mandate for the BJP, but the affiliated organizations, the organizations which profess to be close to its ideology or the ideology of the RSS, they seem to think that it is a mandate for them. And all these things are happening because you think that there is a mandate by the people. Is that the way you people look at it?
In fact, India is a Hindu nation. 85% of population are from Hindu community. Rest 15% people which constitutes Muslims, Christians, they all are converted Hindus. If they want to come to their old religion, they want to do homecoming, they want to do Ghar Vapsi, then we will welcome them.
No, the question is this, you welcome them, but the question is this, that when, say in the last 10 years when the UPA government was there, we didn't see so much activity on this front. Now suddenly why this spurt in activity? Is it because you think that the people's mandate is with you? Because the BJP has one power, it has one power on its own, so you think that, you Hindu Mahasabha, whether it's Hindu Mahasabha or RSS or VHP or Bajrang Dal, do you think that it's a mandate, it's a social mandate also?
These are not sudden work. We all do regular work, and when there was government of UPA, then this type of program were continuously.
So this is not a new thing.
This is not
entirely agree with it.
new issue.
This is not a new thing.
These are not new incidents.
Okay, Professor Pant, do you subscribe to what John
Girish,
said?
I find this whole discussion rather amusing.
Yes.
No, I subscribe entirely to what John says. My good friend John has put it very well. I think in this country we cannot go around brandishing and broadening our breasts and say that we belong to a Hindu nation. We belong to a secular democratic republic, which happens to be a country where majority of people profess Hindu faith, but it doesn't mean that everybody has to be converted or reconverted. I think John made a very interesting point that the law is very clear on this, and it is the responsibility not of the central government but of the state government to see to it and show the backbone to punish these
Professor
people.
Pant,
But
Professor Pant, my
unfortunately,
question
the
is-
government in UP, I can't speak for Chhattisgarh and the rest, which John very carefully and rightly mentioned, but in UP there has been deliberate provocation and there has been agent provocators trying to deflect attention from the misgovernance and the Gunda Raj
Professor
in
Pant,
UP. So
no,
I'm
Professor
afraid
Pant,
the
one
UP
second.
government should own up to its responsibility of
No,
law and
Prof-
order and punish.
No, Professor Pant, is it just do you look at this as an issue which is confined to Uttar Pradesh, or as John pointed out, that,
No.
That,
But,
one second, sir. One second. Let me
Girish,
finish the question.
at the point, we are on the
let
short
me
point
finish
of
the
UP.
question. Let me finish the question, sir. Or is
Yes,
is it the atmosphere which has been created after the as John says that after the BJP government has come to power, there is a certain atmosphere which has been created, and these organizations think that it's a mandate for them to
Sir,
do this.
Sir, I said I'm in 100% agreement with my good friend John Dayal. I think I don't have a word against Mr. Modi, but I think Mr. Modi should speak up and shut these people up, which give him and the government a bad name. The mandate was for Mr. Narendra Modi, not for the undivided Sangh Parivar. And I think we live in a day and an age where the Sangh Parivar also is changing, and only the vestiges of the old leadership cling on to this belief that they can get away with what their agenda is. I think the agenda is development, as Bala said rightly. I couldn't agree with Bala more either. But I think if it's a question of law and order, why I am focusing on UP is that at the moment we are on the short point of Agra. When we are talking
we are
about
not.
Chhattisgarh, let's hold Raman Singh to account.
Agra is just a.
If it is
peg
Madhya
for us
Pradesh,
to-
we should hold Shivraj Singh to account.
Okay, Mr. Farooqi, you have been, you know Uttar Pradesh, you have been, you come from there. The question is it that the state governments, what about the state government's role in this entire thing as far as Agra is concerned? But it's also a larger issue, as John rightly pointed out. It's happening in many other states.
Girish, there is no doubt about it. I fully agree with Mr. Pant and Mr. Bala also. But what Mr. Pant is saying, absolutely right. This is the prime responsibility of the state, because law and order is with the state. How come they performed all these things and how come the entire intelligence failed? How come they have not been in a position to take any action against all those people who are saying all those kind of things in the open? I would not name the people in fact, because that would not be correct, but we have got the people in fact who have been showing all those kind of things on record itself. And they have distributed, as I said earlier, that they are trying to fool even my Hindu friends, in fact, that we have done so much, we are spending so much, and we are taking all those kind of things. And I agree with Mr. Bala also that yes, all these issues are being diverting attention, in fact. But who is doing it? In UP, yes, Mulayam Singh ji would be responsible as the president. But what about the member of parliament who day in, day out, even today? I would not like to name the gentleman. In fact, he raised a kind of issue which will put up the entire country on fire, giving a kind of celebrating the birth anniversary as a pride of the nation of a person who murdered Bapu, in fact, and the MPs jolly well roaming around. So all these people, in fact, are trying to divert the attention of the nation from the main issues, the issues of poverty, issues of backwardness, issues of the blackmailing, issues of the development, all those issues, in fact. And I totally, most respectfully, I disagree with Munna at all. Forget about that. As long as this constitution is concerned, you will not be in a position to achieve this, because we have got a constitution which tells us it's a secular country.
Okay.
It is not a Hindu country. Please stop saying all those kind of things. You may fool yourself, or you may fool some of the people from the Hindu Mahasabha or some element in the RSS also. But you cannot fool the entire nation.
Bala.
Yeah.
Bala, the question is this. You are saying that it is an effort by some political forces to divert the issue from. But would you agree that this game is not being played by one side? It is being played by both the sides.
No, I would say that
he says that this is a Hindu nation. 70-85% of the people are Hindus. So the rest 15% have been converted. Let them come back to the Hindu faith.
See,
isn't this divisive?
India is India, and India is a very unique nation. And I would always say that anybody who is trying to divert the attention from development agenda, or what Mr. Narendra Modi is doing, he is doing a great work. And I think that he should be given all
what about
support.
John Dayal and or all the other panelists saying that Mr. Narendra Modi should speak out? Why is he not speaking out against this?
To the best of my understanding of Hinduism doesn't believe in any kind of conversion, because everybody who is born is a Hindu. It is only after conversion somebody becomes a Muslim or a Christian.
Absolutely.
But as far as Hindu is
Sanatan Dharmi or
yes. So Hinduism doesn't believe in any kind of conversion or any of these things. And as far as we are concerned, this country is one and people are one, and only one citizenship here. and we want development. And if you have to fight, Narendra Modi has said, if you fight against poverty, not against ourselves. And why are we trying to create any situation which is vitiating the atmosphere?
Why are we, Munnaji, why are we trying to create? He says that
Doing it.
No,
Who is doing it? Why not we should stop it?
No, I would say whoever is doing it.
Bala Shankar,
Who is doing it?
BJP,
Stop them,
intellectual
na?
cell, he says that, conversion doesn't, as far as Hinduism is concerned, there is no question of conversion, doesn't happen.
If there are forced conversion or conversion by
Wasn't
government,
this a case of forced
then
conversion?
it is banned and it is illegal. But when people are coming to their old religion, they are homecoming, then what is wrong?
But he says that,
The
he says
people
that
of-
as far as Hinduism is concerned,
What will a state government do? The people are coming to Hindu community by their own choice. Then what UP government will do? The people of India has voted to power to Narendra Modi government for development as well as Hindutva issue, not only for development. Congress has also done the development
Mr.
work.
Pant and Bala have to respond to it. We need not to talk about it. Let them answer
The
people
people
like
of
them.
India voted
We
to
don't need
Narendra
to-
Modi
we need
government.
Bala.
Yes.
Let Mr.
No, this is
Pant and
no,
Mr. Bala talk
this
about
is
it.
not no. This is not a light thing. But what he is talking is what he is saying is something which is in the minds of a lot of people in this country. That this government has been elected for development and also for Hindutva.
Yeah.
People elected this government for a strong India, a prosperous India, a happy India, and it is a peaceful India. And that is why people voted.
Yes.
I don't think there was any
John,
religion
quickly.
or...
I wanted to make a statement of faith because several statements of faith have been made. For me, as a practicing Christian, in due course of time, after I've served the world usefully, there will be a homecoming for me. I shall go home. It's in heaven. But I cannot even foresee or dream of an India which will be a Hindu Rashtra
Okay.
as much as Pakistan is an Islamic Rashtra or Saudi is. It cannot
Okay,
be.
Professor Pant, how do you react to Munna
I agree.
Sharma's claim is this election, the Narendra Modi government has been elected for
No, I think
development
Mr.
and
Mullah Sharma
Hindutva.
is the only odd man out in this evening's panel discussion. No, I don't think that anybody believes that Mr. Modi won because of Hindutva. Mr. Modi carefully avoided mentioning the Ram temple throughout his campaigns, and I think much to his credit, he talked only of development, and I only hope, and this again is a statement of faith, as my friend John says, that the Hindu Rashtra concept does not come to haunt us in my lifetime, at least, and not in my children's and grandchildren's. I would love to live in a secular democratic India where Hindus are proud, but so are the rest who don't have to go back to their old
Narendra
original
Modi
religion.
government
If
has
at all
been given
ever there
to
is one.
power for development as well as protection of Hindus, protection
not.
of cows.
Of course not. It is for
Protection
my
of cows.
protection.
Yes,
It is-
construction
He was
of-
elected to office for
construction
the
of Ram
protection
temple at
of John
Ayodhya.
Dayal, the Christian.
They
I
will
think
voted
Mr.
for
Modi
all
was
these
elected to do
Hindutva
that.
issue.
For the protection
And
of
if
every
they
Indian.
will not
Precisely.
work, if
Protection of
they
every
will
Indian.
not commit,
125 crore, sir.
then
Okay.
he will be out of power.
Not Hindus, not Muslim. Kamal Farooq is also being protected by Prime Minister.
Okay, sir, I think...
John Dayal is also protected by Prime Minister.
Okay, sir. I think on that note we need to end. We completely run out of time. But it is evident that this is an issue which is sensitive, which has different dimensions to it, and what has happened in Agra is certainly a thing which needs to be, as everybody says, that handled by the state government. But this is a larger issue which will need to be tackled by everyone, not just by the government itself. Thanks to all my guests, Professor Pushpesh Pant, John Dayal, Bala Shankar, Munna Sharma and Kamal Farooqi. Please keep watching. We'll come back with another issue, the big picture, same time tomorrow.
Thank you.